78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston. We are back for another Saturday. I'm really excited to be here. I can't wait to get through this session today because everything that I teach when it comes to coaching, educating, encouraging, inspiring others to take care of themselves, recharge their battery, recharge their minds, their life, their energy. I'm doing that today. I'm heading back out to Miyako-jima, of course, one of my favorite places to escape to. And just going to spend the weekend out there, just kind of reset, recycle, refocus, right? If you know my story, you know this has been a long week. There's been a lot of traveling lately. There's been a lot of planning, a lot of teaching going on, a lot of coaching, a lot of prepping, a lot of creating, building. I'm really excited. I can't complain. All of it's a blessing. All of it is something that's welcomed. All of it is part of this journey that I'm on right now. I'm really excited to be invited to classrooms and to virtual sessions and to, people's lives. When you coach people, you're literally becoming a part of their story. And I'm very grateful. I'll start there today. I'm very grateful for the people who allow me to be a part of their story, who have opened themselves up and have been vulnerable enough to start this journey with me. And it's usually something that they're navigating through, something that they want to get past or something they want to grow into. And that's really such an honor to be a part of that. It's such a blessing to see people grow. When you get to that last session with someone and you don't want it to end because you've built in a connection, right? I had someone ask me during our live coaching session 2 weeks ago. They said, how do you end these sessions when you're on your last one? And I think it's different every time. That's what I told them. I said, honestly, it's different every time. Some you can wrap and be like, hey, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to call, text away. Others, you're like, hey, if you want to continue, if you want to take a pause. It's always unique, right? There's some people who I know that chapter's ended, but I have a good feeling we're going to be, connecting again for a different chapter, which I've usually been right, which has happened. Coaching is its own journey. I'm really grateful for the International Coaching Federation, ICF, Flatter Leadership Academy, all of my coaches for the APAC coaching team, coaching staff. We call it the APAC Asian Pacific Coaching Network. And I'm really grateful to be a part of this team with these guys on their journey as they work towards their hours to complete their ACC, which is the accreditation, the initial accreditation to be an International Coaching Federation certified coach and credentialed. I'm really excited to be a part of their journey as well. So not just the clients, the leaders that we have an opportunity to spend time with, but the coaches who are navigating and working towards their finish line. It's such a wonderful pleasure to be a part of this story. That's been a huge piece of the behind the scenes planning with me, making sure that I'm leaving them better than I found them. They trusted me with their time, with their energy, with their goals, with the vision they have for themselves. So I take that very seriously. And I think that everything I'm doing right now to build for them and to build for this team is significant and important. And that's why I don't take it for granted. So for the folks who I might have missed hanging out with you, spending time with you, or, it doesn't seem like I'm the old me, my energy isn't the same, or my time isn't the same, forgive me. Not because I need to be forgiven, but because I understand. And I know it's changed. I know there was a shift. I know that I am not the same person that I was. I know that my energy and time is not what it used to be. And so I have to give it where it's needed for the plan, the vision, the goals of what's coming. With that being said, I really appreciate not just the folks who I've already mentioned, but all of the collaborators over this past year. As we get into the fourth quarter right now, almost to the end of it, I realize that we've done so much. And it's crazy to think that you can do a whole lot of powerful and incredible things, and only the people that were in front of you really know about it. We don't go and jump into every newspaper and jump on LinkedIn every 5 minutes and post. We don't do those things. We focus on building. And when we're done building something, we're usually launching. And after the launch, it's like we jump in to build something else. And that's beautiful in itself. I've had such a good time building. Sometimes you don't even get a chance to enjoy how great of an outcome something was. Usually the feedback we get is from someone who attended or someone who actually experienced what you created, and they're telling you how it was for them. And that in itself is beautiful, and I really enjoy it. But I really realize that we do so much, and not too many people realize the impact unless they're in this immediate orbit. And we don't brag on it. This is an opportunity for me to say thank you to those teammates who have made that possible this year. I can't brag on you enough. I can't really, from my small, humble seat, do a whole lot to thank you other than say thank you and show my appreciation when I really, truly appreciate you. But to, again, Flatter Leadership Academy, International Coaching Federation, my APAC coaches, Dr. Jason Womack, Christopher Butler, and his wife, Kristen. You guys have been amazing. I couldn't do the Lighthouse Beacon Award without you and the speakers you've brought in, the time and energy, money that you've poured into making sure this was special, beautiful for this region. The Zampa Lighthouse staff, Miss Rika-san here in Zampa, for making sure that we were able to give someone something to walk away and make sure they knew they were making a difference, not just in our community, but in the world. You know, it starts with one person, especially if you're doing something positive. That one person, that positivity, it spreads. And it's really important that we make sure that that still exists, that good people still exist in this world. I can't say that enough. It's really important that we highlight and we really make sure it's captured that good people still exist in this world. So for the Power of Positivity team, Christopher and Kristen, and of course Zampa Lighthouse, all of our wonderful speakers who have came in to make sure we recognize our individuals who are doing amazing things in this community. Thank you. And to see it grow, we went from having a local one base process where we're recognizing somebody from this one base to now we're actually competing against 6 different bases, highlighting wonderful people doing 6 things all over the region. At first, APAC, Asia Pacific, it was cute. But when you start really seeing the impact people are doing in this region, and it's not just military, it's civilians, it's spouses, it's our contractors, it's so many people from all different ages. I saw 36 packages that I read this last round of people doing incredible things in their communities. We only had 4 gifts or 4 awards to give, 4 Lighthouse Beacon Awards, 36 amazing people. And then you take a step back and you start reading some of the accomplishments. You start reading some of the selfless things these people are doing, and you're like, wow. Let me take a cold, hard look at myself and measure against these amazing things. Am I doing enough to make a difference? Am I being kind? Am I showing up every single day unapologetically me, kind, generous, humble? All of these things that these folks were doing, they're all superheroes. And so I want to thank everyone who's actually nominated their teams, been nominated, who has won, the folks who have actually helped me put these events together for the Lighthouse Beacon Award. I am so proud to see how far we come from this little humble, small room gathering to having a reach and impact of 6 different military installations. That means 6 different large communities in this region. And so thank you for those development advisors who are out there, who are nominating their folks, who are making sure that the bases know this is something that exists to highlight people who are doing great things in their community. So to my family of DAs that are helping me making sure this is something special every single quarter for those folks to be recognized. Thank you. The cool thing, you think small, right? Think small that it's a award. It's nominated for and somebody wins. But when you think about the process that goes behind it, someone is doing great things behind the scenes while our normal missions continue to move. Someone's doing all of these great things in their community behind the scenes on their own time with their families at their sides or in between family time, still finding time to do great things for communities. And then not only is it happening, but now people who are responsible for them, who may have not even known that these people were going above and beyond, that their folks were like superheroes without wearing capes, not knowing that they were doing these things until they see this on paper. And then they get this paper and they're like, wait a minute, Jimmy's been doing this for the past 2 years? Or Jana has been doing this? I didn't know she did this. I didn't know she spent time at the women's shelter on her time while she goes there every weekend and teaches. I didn't know that John not only coaches soccer, but he's done blah, 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 raise money for the people. We forgot how to pay attention to the heroes. There's so many things that distract us every single day that those things are just like, oh, that's cool. But when you are able to recognize the efforts of these people doing amazing things in their community, it's special. And not just for them, special for everyone involved. And then if I'm a leader, or if I'm someone's supervisor or leader's leader, I run an organization, and I just found out, because I had to sign off on this, that I have a secret superhero in my unit who's doing amazing things. That's special. And so we're highlighting people who don't normally get highlighted. And this isn't about being a star for a day or being cool for a week. No, this is about truly recognizing greatness, kindness, people doing things that are above and beyond. And I think it's wonderful to continue this. I'm so grateful to have a team that's supporting me to make that happen, supporting this program, from the Power of Positivity to the Zampa Lighthouse, to my development advisor teams, to all the leaders that nominated their people. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for caring enough to care. Because it doesn't take a whole lot of time to do that. But to the person that is recognized, to the person that saw you take that time out, it mattered. And they felt important. They felt seen, valued. And in today's world, that's everything for some people. To know that your efforts ain't in vain or aren't in vain. To know that the things you do matter. To know that your energy, your spirit, your heart is not wasted or in vain. You matter. And you've changed lives. You've helped people. All right, enough about that. I just want to thank everybody involved in that award because it's very important to me. Thank everyone involved in our programs, all of our collaborators, all of our facilitators who selflessly give us time back. I was speaking to coaches today who are dedicating time, volunteering time to build up our coaches in this region, our APAC coaches. I woke up this morning, started my conversations at 5 a.m. to have conversations with coaches all over the world, from the International Coaching Federation, from India to the East Coast to Tokyo, Japan. And they were all so excited to be a part of something that's bigger than us. Because it's not about us as people who put our name on something. It's about the impact that our programs and our time has in this world. And as I'm building this and making sure this is happening for this community, I'm also looking at, okay, in January, we need to host something for our joint forces right here at home. Something that educates, encourages, and inspires them. So now I'm reaching out to other facilitators to help me put that together. Last year's summit, we had folks volunteering their time, and it was beautiful. It was such a cool experience to be a part of. Even the folks that were here, I know they were like, this guy doesn't have time for us. My peers, he doesn't have time for us. No, it's not about not having time for you. I want to make sure the experience and the time was worth it. So behind the scenes, I'm pushing. But I'm thankful. And let's talk a little bit more after this break. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston, and we're back. I want to spend time and talk about some things. Of course, partnering with and a lot of the collaborations with a lot of some amazing people with great hearts and great minds in this world. And I wanted to talk about peace. And of course, I'm using posts and messaging from the powerpositivity.com. What we're going to start doing is kind of not a rebrand, but kind of a refocus. Some of the messages that they've been dropping over the years has been amazing. So I'm going to use them, and I'm going to have conversations based on some of the posts. And it's kind of cool because, you have topics, and they feed me all week with amazing things. One of the topics I want to talk about today is peace. I'm going to read a line to you, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. I'm going to share to you what it means to me when someone says certain topics or certain comments. And this one is, peace is expensive. That's why not everyone has it. And I'll rephrase that for you. Peace is expensive. That's why not everyone has it. You see, not everyone has peace in their lives. Not everybody has what you may think is a peaceful life. Some people go through struggles and things. And have you ever found that friend, relative, or teammate that seems to always go through the same struggles in life, always going through cycles of the same mess or the same drama, the same issues? I will be honest, I have a friend like that who's seemingly always going through the same story, repeating the same story in their life. And normally her story is, evolves or involves relationships. And I tell her, until you change what you're allowing and inviting into your life, you're going to continue to go through the same things over and over. Someone, I believe it was Albert Einstein, no, it may not have been, so don't quote me, but I do know there is a quote, and I will paraphrase, that says, the true definition of insanity is bumping your head against the same wall over and over. And some people in their lives continue to go through the same drama over and over because they don't want to make the changes that will get the drama out of their life, that will bring them peace. Do you know there's people that will rather deal with drama than let someone go because they're scared of being alone? Do you know there's people that will allow people in their life just because either they're people pleasers, or B, they just want somebody around, or they just want to be around someone, and they invite drama into their lives? Do you know that these relationships, there's people who see the red flags but assume that they can change that person? And what that does, again, it creates and allows drama in their life. All of these things I say in regards to this person, that I'm speaking of, I always try to coach her back to, and I won't even use coaching because this is big brother stuff. I always try to bring her back to the front. Hey, man, why didn't you pay attention to the red flags that you're telling me about right now? And why did you still allow this person in your life? Okay, cool. While you're thinking about that, what would happen if you didn't? What would your life look like right now if you eliminate those things that are bringing you stress? And so for some people, it's hard, not because it's just the attachment, because the time. Imagine how much time people have doing or being around or being involved with certain things. It's not even about happiness in a lot of cases, it's just comfort. It's what they know. Imagine this. I'm reading a newspaper and I just saw like certain city, I ain't going to say where in the United States, and it talks about how this area of gang violence, and it shows the areas and blocks of where there's gang violence and these gangs and the breakdowns. And imagine living somewhere in between all of this violence. Family home, where you grew up, what you know, scared to leave the city, don't want to leave the city, but you're constantly complaining about the violence, the drama, the fear of leaving your home, being robbed, being burglarized. But you haven't looked into the steps of changing the environment that you're in. You've been fearful. You've allowed fear to stop you from looking at change, or you just have listened to others who say you'll be fine, or because this is what you know, you don't change. And people who have that fear of change are never going to truly look to change because fear has that stronghold on them, hasn't been a headlock. I remember joining the Air Force in 1998. My biggest fear was change. Because I was used to living free. I was used to being on my own time. And then I'm seeing movies about how the military looked. And I'm like, I don't want to be a part of that world. You know, I turned down the opportunity to go to the Air Force Academy in 1997, 1998. Because when I went to the campus at the United States Air Force Academy, I was prepping SATs, ACT. I had already been in talks about the prep school. I remember going to the campus to visit with the Advanced Via Individual Determination was the name of the group, AVID. And I remember we did a trip to the academy, and I saw how the underclassmen were getting yelled at by like the seniors or juniors, whatever it was, when they would step out of a little lane, and they said, you got to walk around this as a freshman. That's the little tiny lane that you have to walk around the school. If you step out of there, the other schoolmates will yell at you. I was like, man, let me tell you, my ego cannot handle that. Man, y'all don't know me. I'm from Cali. That's what it was. My ego couldn't handle it. I turned down an opportunity for growth. Probably could have changed the trajectory of my life because of ego, not fear of change. It was ego. So think about the things that keep you locked in and keep you from finding the peace, happiness, and joy in your life. Is it fear? Is it ego? Is it comfort? What are these things that are keeping you from peace? Loneliness, fear of loneliness. It's crazy, right? To think that some people will trap themselves or allow themselves to be in situations that make them miserable because of these fears or these comforts or their ego. People stay in relationship. You ain't breaking up with me. I ain't breaking up with him because I see how it is out there. No, I ain't trying to be single. I don't want to talk about that. I can't find a man. No, that's ego. So I say all this to say there's people who haven't found peace even when peace is right in front of them. On the other side of this wall that they built for themselves, on the other side of these boundaries that they've created for themselves, or I wouldn't even call them boundaries, the other side of these hurdles that they've created for themselves. Sometimes it can be people, sometimes it can be places, and sometimes it can be things, habits. There's people right now who are unhappy because they haven't figured out who they are in this world, because they've allowed other people to guide, direct, and navigate their lives instead of trying to navigate their own. People right now who are scared to live. And so I asked the question, why peace is expensive? Peace is expensive because you have to pay the price to have it. Peace is expensive because the price you have to pay is normally removing one of those people, stop going to some of those places, and get rid of some of those things that are not allowing you to have peace. Things could be habits. Things can be actions. Things could be, what is that? Who you were is not allowing you to be who you can become. And when you run into that, sorry, the door here on our teammates is going out the door, but when you can't be who you can become because you've created your own limitations, you are keeping yourself from finding peace. A change, just a small change, right, that I made over the last couple of weeks. I remember I would wake up, and because there's so much going on in the world, I would jump into the news. Or I'd jump on YouTube news and see what's going on. Some of my favorite folks who talk about things. And I realized that after I'd watched that in the morning, my energy was gone. I was angry sometimes. I was frustrated. I was like, I can't believe this is going on. And then I go to work. My energy's a little off. It takes me a second to get the flow going. And I didn't understand or didn't realize I was even doing it. I was just in a mood because of what's going on or what happened yesterday while I was asleep. And then I'm getting to work and I'm bringing that energy with me. Even though I'm not taking it out on people, the energy was within me. So I was already building limitations for myself because now I can't be focused and positively minded on what I'm doing. I can't think creatively because on the inside, I'm in turmoil because of what I just watched this morning. So I made a shift, and we talk about the changes you can make when you're really trying to find peace. Even though as much as I might enjoy opening up YouTube in the mornings and doing 15 minutes on the way to work watching the video, I said, I'm stopping it. I'm not doing it. I said, because when I watch that, I'm starting to focus on things that are not within my locus of control. And I'm getting frustrated because I'm hoping somebody else keeps up. And I know I can't be the person to do it, but it's outside of my control. I can't even call someone to fix this. I can't fly nowhere to fix this. I can't do nothing to fix this. I don't have a voice in the matter, but I'm sitting here getting frustrated about it and allowing it to ruin the energy that I'm walking into the day with. So I had to make a shift, had to make a change. How expensive is that? Okay, cool. I had a routine that I had in the morning. It was just part of my morning, getting dressed and listening to something. How about substituting that for something else? How about going back to what I used to do and listening to something positive in the morning to get my day going? How about going back to what I used to do and try to listen to positive energy, positive vibes, right? Is what the name of this show is. Something that gives me peace in the morning, gives me new energy, good energy. Songs, motivational speeches, a positive speaker, something therapeutic, something that's giving me energy. You know, I went away from my morning workout routine where you can listen. I was listening to that Creed movie soundtrack, the training montage, and just charged me up. And my team knows when I'm charged up or when my energy's not 100% there. What are the things that charge me up, get me going today, brings me peace? How can I go into my day with peace? Well, I started working out again in the morning. Started sitting in my car for a few minutes and meditating before I start work. Getting my breaths in again. Going to the places that bring me peace, like the Zampa Lighthouse, the promises I made to myself. I started going back and keeping those promises. I ask you as my friends, what are you doing to keep your peace? Because it's not too expensive. We'll be right back after this break. '78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston. We're talking about finding peace, not protecting your peace, because protecting your peace means you already got it. Finding peace, right? And one of the coolest things, one of the quotes that I read this week, which I really valued, it says, to find peace, you have to be willing to lose your connection with the people, places, and things that create all the noise in your life. Again, credit to the powerofpositivity.com. To find peace, you have to be willing to lose the connection with all of the people, places, and things that create all the noise in your life. Baby steps. The first thing I did, I said, hey, you know what? I am not listening to YouTube in the morning because this, what do you call that? When it takes you down different loops, this is taking me into places mentally I don't want to go to start my morning off. I want to be in a positive space. I want to be in a space where I feel energized. I want to be in a space where I feel I can contribute to the day. I want to be in a space where I feel like I'm connected to my team. I want to be in a space to where I'm not distracted. I want to be in a space to where I'm focused. I want to be in a space when I come to work in the morning, or if I'm waking up on the weekend, to where I'm excited and I'm grateful for a new day. I want to be in a space to not only am I grateful for a new day, but I'm grateful that I can still live a challenging, a valued, and important life, that I have two hands to touch on things, eyes to see, legs to move. I can still go work out. I can go travel here in Okinawa to different parts, that I can fly to Miyako to explore, just to get away, to refocus, to reset. All of these things is the way that I want to wake up charged up in the morning. Not rolling over and sad I got to go into the day. Not rolling over and upset because, what I just watched. It's true. It's a valid question. It's a very valid question. In the world today, where are all the heroes? In the world today, what happened to appreciating the heroes and valuing the heroes? Why I do the Lighthouse Beacon Award. You remember when we were kids, for those of you who grew up like I did in the 80s and 90s, Superman and superheroes were the coolest thing. Were the coolest thing. I remember seeing, even though the CGI and all that stuff was lame back in the 80s, it was still the coolest thing to watch a Superman movie. Christopher Reeve flying. We had the shows too, right? They would come on ABC and all these things. But just to give me a hero, something positive to hang on to for an hour, was the coolest. And then after a few years, I started watching Marvel movies and I started seeing people fall in love with the anti-hero. And then as we move forward, people started watching Netflix and other shows and started connecting with the villain. I was guilty of this. I'll tell you, I was really a big fan of that show Dexter. Y'all remember Dexter? And he was funny to me. He brought a sense of humor to the craziness in his world. But he was literally doing things to criminals that nobody should do. Why am I connecting with this anti-hero? What happened to the heroes? And you know, the people who were getting booed were the people who were actually trying to do the right thing in this show, because we were connecting with the anti-hero. It was the game that was being played right in front of us, and now I'm watching where people are trying to connect with the storylines of the villains in the movies, in the world. Why? What happened to appreciating the heroes? You see, what happens when we stop appreciating heroes, people stop wanting to be one. And I'll tell you, I appreciate the heroes that are out there fighting on the front lines to make it make sense again. I appreciate the people who wake up every single day and they're not walking into their lives focused on themselves. They're focused on how to make someone else's day better. I appreciate the people who walk in trying to make sure they are better than yesterday, that are taking time for self-reflection, that are trying to understand how to be a better version of themselves because they know that the story they are telling is important. We think that our story isn't important. No, it's a ripple effect when you are trying to go into the world and not aimlessly, but with positive energy. Do you know that you can change an environment with a smile? You can change an environment with positive energy. That ripple effect of emotions, that's a real thing. I've walked into some of the nastiest environments. And I'll keep it real. I'll put this in my book when it's time. I've walked inside some of the nastiest environments where people would, from what we call it these days, call it a toxic team or a toxic environment. I've sat down where everyone in the chairs to the left and to the right of me was miserable. But I refuse to let that energy rub off on me. Not everybody has that built in them, in their DNA, to where they don't allow other people's energy to affect theirs. And after a while, you start realizing that, hey, there's nothing that these guys are even trying to do to change it. They've gotten comfortable with this being the scene. And I love it because I get to be a change agent in situations like that. Oh, y'all can be negative, but I'm going to come in here positive. I'm not letting your energy. You know what? That's a different movie that I'm watching right now. The movie I'm in is a comedy. The one y'all are in looks like a drama. How about y'all tune into my channel? Ripple effect of emotion. High-fiving, hugging people. So, people, why is he in such a good mood? Why are you not? Why are you in a bad mood? Because it is that. Why are you letting it affect you like that? What's within your control? What can you do? And how can you do that to the best of your ability, cut it off, and go move on to what's important to you? It's a mindset. When you walk in, you change the dynamic. I remember going into a job, a team. I won't say what team. I remember going into this team, and it was maybe 5 years ago. I was on this team, and it's a team of, let's say, 25 people. And the person that was in charge of this team was miserable because they were coming in early, staying later, correcting discrepancies on the rest of the team, getting called out by people in positions of power, and they were miserable. They were stressed out. So guess what happens when the top of the food chain is stressed out? Everybody on that team was stressed out. I'm replacing this person. And so I come into the team and I'm hearing all these stories. The first thing I did was I just sat back and listened. And then I looked at it. Remember what we talked about earlier? What can I change to bring peace to this team? And so I looked around. First of all, I looked at the staff. I looked at the training. I looked at the time where that was spent doing certain things. I looked at the communication, how things were being communicated outside of that section. I looked at how the team saw itself, and then I looked at how the world saw the team. And I realized that I needed to make some changes immediately, because usually people do the 30, 60, 90, 30 days of observation, 60 days of kind of just making small, subtle changes. In 90, these things are changing, right? I didn't do that. I didn't have that kind of time. I had 30 days because the way this program or their program was set up, things affect people's pay. Things affect people's travel. Things affect people's lives. So we got to make changes now. And this wasn't the first time that I've had to be a part of a team like that and walk in with that mentality. So I walked in and I said, hey, time out. I know first and foremost, I can't have the same energy as you. So I brought that positive energy, even when they were in such negative moods, to the meetings as the new boss of this team connected to a bigger team. I knew that my energy was everything. So I downplayed a lot of stuff. I said, hey, man, so what we got? X, Y, Z. They were telling me this. Okay, cool. So we got it. I need to know who's ready to step up. That's literally how I walked in there. I need to know who's ready to step up, because what's been going on isn't working for everybody. So we need this to be something that we're all vibing with, that's working for all of us, and that we're all on the same page. How do we get there? Hey, for the next hour, this room is yours. You can throw whatever you want at me. This is a safe space. If anybody takes our conversation out of this room, they got to deal with me. So let's talk. And I will tell you, when I made sure everyone on that team felt seen, valued, and heard, I also had a couple of precursors. I don't care how you thought about the teammate to your left or to your right. If you dismiss anything they say, we got a problem, because everybody's voice is going to be heard in here. And you might be the person that speaks a lot. You might be the person that never says anything. This is going to be the opportunity. If you really want to change the way we look at this, then we got to change the way you look at things. The things we look at change. If you want to change the way we see our environment, then we have to change our environment. How do we do it? And I'll tell you, I got a couple from the folks above me at different levels. How come you guys are? But I was ready with an answer, because I realized that if I was going to bring peace to this team, I had to have peace within myself. So I prepared myself mentally. I spent a lot of time engaging with mentors and engaging with people at a headquarters level to understand what my responsibility was, how I could change things so that it wouldn't be seen and treated the way it was. I took time and energy to make sure that each one of my personnel were trained based on the requirements. And it wasn't going to be overnight. You ever have one of those situations where you have to ask for forgiveness? I want to bring peace to this team. So let me get them trained. Let me get them what they need. Let me make sure we have the systems. The hours make sense. They're spending time with their families. They're not stressed out. They're not coming in early like their old boss was and leaving late at night. Oh, we're on different time zones. Doesn't matter. That means that we get something done in the night or on reasonable hours, and we come back to the answers in the morning time. It's not on their time. It has to be on ours. Make it make sense. We have to take care of the customer or whoever we're taking care of. Got it, program, whatever it is. But we also have to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. Because if we're not good, there's no way we're going to be able to put our best effort into what's in front of us. That was my focus, and it drove certain people crazy. I remember one of my feedbacks, can you explain? And I broke it down the way I'm breaking it down to you right now. And after that feedback, that person never messed with me again. They never said nothing to me because they realized I had the best interest of the team, the best interest of the program, and the best interest of our mission at heart and in my mind at all times. You see, it's different. I can tell you this. I don't play around with this stuff. I can tell you this. I can say this because I've lived it. It's been a part of my DNA and a part of my story. So I tell you, I knew what that team needed to bring that team peace that it hasn't had in years. And when I left, about 6 to 8 months later, of course, systems changed, people changed, different dynamics changed. I was away, right? I was doing something completely different. The team went right back to the old because it was what was so deeply rooted that somebody else came from a different location and brought that old energy back. Because I found peace within me first. And I was able to bring peace to that team. And then you get someone who replaces me that doesn't have that peace within them. And a lot of times it's based on their level of self-awareness, who they are, right? Are they a pleaser? Are they introspective? Are they, who are they? And if they're dealing with things on that level where they can't come and do what I did only because I had that understanding of who I was as a leader, as a person, as a mentor, and I bought that energy as a subordinate, I bought that energy up the chain. If you can't do that, then you're not going to be able to bring peace to those environments that you're in. Now, that's work. Let's talk about home. Because if you're listening to this, that means I'm talking to you in the community. What are the things in your personal life that you have to get rid of because those things are keeping you from peace? What are those bad habits that you need to stop because they're not bringing you any peace? It's affecting you mentally in the relationships. What are those things? Where are those places you need to stop going because it's not bringing you peace? Who are those people you got to stop hanging around? Who are those people you got to stop talking to? You know what I did realize? I'm a coach, so I listen to stories all the time. I hear a lot of people's stories. I deal with a lot of different situations. I lead people, so I get a lot of information all week. But I realize that I minimize the time that I spend with people I don't have to when they focus on negativity. If they're a negative-minded person or a negative person in general, I try to minimize my time talking to them, minimize my time working around them, minimize my time spent. Hey, you want to do this after work? No, I'm good. Hey, you want to go here? No, I'm good. Hey, we're doing this? No, I'm good. Because A, either you can't stop talking about work, you don't have no cutoff, or B, because you're always talking about something negative. And that could be talking about people. That could be talking about stuff going on in other locations that nobody wants to talk about all the time. What does that look like for you? We'll be right back. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Wisdom. This is our last block together. So I kind of wanted to tie up everything we've been talking about as we get ready for our next guest in the next hour. So with people, if you were listening, you heard me say peace is expensive. That's why not everyone has it. Or you can say it, that's why everyone doesn't have it. Peace is expensive. That's why everyone doesn't have it. To find peace, you have to be willing to lose your connection with the people, places, and things that create all the noise in your life. I've made it a point to block out the noise. I went out to the Lighthouse the other day. I listened to one of the books that I'm checking out right now. It was an audio book that was about an hour and 44 minutes long. I spent the entire time standing at the top of the Zampa Lighthouse, watching the water and listening to this message. I blocked out the noise, and in an hour and 44 minutes, I learned something new. I learned some new concepts. I learned some new ideas. I learned new connections, way to connect with myself, way to be a better person, way to connect with who I want to be vision-wise. It all happened in an hour and 44 minutes because I blocked out the noise of the rest of the world, and I focused on what was happening right there. We call that mindfulness, right? Being present and being intentional. And I was intentional with what I was reading, listening to, and what I was doing. I blocked out the people. I stopped going to those places that weren't any good for me. Think about that. A lot of people think about that when it comes to, like, say, they're trying to eat healthy, so they stop going to fast food restaurants. They're trying not to drink, so they stop going to the shop at. All these little things, or that aisle that the alcohol is in, all these things that weren't bringing them peace in their lives or change that they wanted. Are you strong enough? Do you want it? Do you want it enough? And you hear people say, do you want it bad enough to make the changes that are needed to bring peace into your life? You can't protect your peace if you've never had peace to begin with. So how do you get the peace that you deserve, that you need? How do you block out those people, places, and things to have peace in your life? And when you have that peace, are you able to protect it? And protecting that peace is exactly what we just said, is keeping those people, places, and things out of your life so that you can keep it. Imagine living a peaceful life. Do you know we live here in Okinawa in a blue zone where people here are known to live longer than people in other countries? Why is that? Because of how peace is protected, how peace is given, and how peace is landing in their lives. Imagine that. As you can probably see outside of my window right now, there's little kids just making a smile, playing in the water with food trucks out here. And it's just such a peaceful environment right here in front of the library and here in the community. You see, these people say, hey, on Saturday, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go do something that's cool with the kids, that's bringing them smiles. And for a lot of the parents, those smiles and the kids are bringing them joy as well. Because that's what we prioritize, is what we love, is what's important to us, right? So I want to add one last piece for you, something to think about as you're going to the weekend and as you're listening to this, wherever you are and whenever you're picking up this message. And you should tell people how important they are to you always. One of my missions as I go into this weekend, and I know I didn't do everything right in my life. I know at 46 years old that I haven't done everything right. And I know that I'm still a work in progress. And I know that I am trying to be better than I was yesterday. I know that every day I wake up, I try to make sure that I'm leaving an impact on someone, that I'm doing something good for someone else, making their day better, making their world better, helping them see things differently. That is the goal I have for others and for myself. Trying to find and protect my peace is always a goal of mine. If I have it, protect it. If I have peace in one area, how do I find peace in another area? If I'm struggling to find it, who do I need to sit down? Who do I see that has it? And how do I engage with them so I can get some of that peace? And when I think about all of these things and I talk about the message I just said, when you care about someone, when you love someone, always make sure they know Always. And one of my goals for this weekend is to reach out to the people who I haven't sent a message to or text to and say thank you. I appreciate you. I have always appreciated you. And tell them why. Don't just say I appreciate you. Hey, I just want to say thank you. Tell them why. Imagine this. I say this often. People who feel seen, valued, and heard feel special. That could be at work or at home. If someone feels seen, valued, and heard, it can change their whole direction of their day. They had a bad day, that can make it a good day. It can make them feel special. And so even from here in Japan, sending a message to my folks who I haven't talked to in a while and just let them know, if I haven't spoken to you in a while, I just want you to know that I see you, I'm proud of you, I appreciate you for this reason. And I'm going to leave them with that. That's part of we got a 4-day break right now. That's part of my break is I want to take one day to do just that. Not because I have to. Not because there's an award on the other end of it. Not because I'm going to get a high five. No, I'm here on an island by myself. I don't see these people. But I'm letting them know I'm thinking about them. I'm taking the time to make sure they know I care, that I miss them, that I care about them, I love them, and I appreciate them. And it may just bring a smile to somebody's face. Even if I send it to 500 people and I get one smile, that means everything to me. I'd rather that than someone go through life not knowing that one person is thinking about them. Or go through that day and not realize that they've made an impact on my life. I encourage it. As I tell you, it's a ripple effect of emotion. I really want to change the way we look at things so the things that we look at change, right? A couple of messages I had in here. Where are the heroes? If you're doing something in your community that is special, that is important, that is changing lives, keep doing it. If you have a good heart, keep it. If you're protecting your peace, keep doing that. If you haven't found your peace yet, find it. If you're searching for something, find it. Because the sooner you get there, the work that you put in to get there, when you have it, you can protect it. And you're protecting it, you're keeping your peace. You're taking your life back, which is every message, every time I'm ever on the air here. And those messages you heard today were from thepowerofpositivity.com. Thank you so much again to that team. I want to continue this. I want to go ahead and get the most powerful messages that I see throughout the week and then elaborate on them, speak about them, talk about them, because we're speaking life into people when we do that. I'm going to read those to you again before we leave with the time we have left, because it's very important that you guys get these, and I want you guys to be able to think about this, right? The first one was peace is expensive. That is why not everyone has it. Peace is expensive. That's why everyone doesn't have it. The next one is to find peace, you have to be willing to lose your connection with the people, places, and things that create all the noise in your life. That means to find peace and to have it, you have to also protect it. And that might lead to you getting rid of some people in your life that are bringing noise, that are keeping you from it. That's why we say peace is expensive, because it may cost you those things that you thought were always going to be around. And last but not least, you should tell people how important they are to you always. I made that my weekend mission. I'm going to do a day full of gratitude. It's going to be some emails. There's going to be some text messages. There's going to be some voice messages. If I can't do one of the two, LinkedIn messages, whatever it is, the people who have made it a point to pour into me, I'm going to show some love this weekend because I can. Not because I'm getting paid to do it, not because I have to, but because I care enough to care. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes with Winsome. I am so happy to still be here on the air with you, and I would rather be nowhere else than here. You are loved, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I'll see you next week.